So knowledge evolves. I don't know if that's been obvious from what we've been saying. Knowledge evolves. We've used words like progress. It evolves in the same way genetic knowledge evolves. So I wrote here, memetic evolution works similar logic as genetic evolution. In genetic evolution, you have new gene variants being made, meaning slight changes from old ones. And then you have gene variants being ruled out and taken out of the gene pool, when somebody dies before they have kids. Mm-hmm. And in the same way, you have new meme variants, which are slight changes from older memes. It means you cannot make an idea from scratch. That is literally impossible. In the same way, you can't make a gene. No gene is made from scratch, unless you're talking about the first one. But that's
well, no, it was made from scratch.
So there's no gene from scratch, is my point. It's only a mutation from an older one. And I'd rather not get into the biology of it, of genetics, but and then the second step of ruling out a gene in the meme case, there's kind of two ways. One is like the rational way, the scientific way. First the idea ends up in the marketplace of ideas. Lots of scientists are judging it, and then they do experiments, they do some peer review, and then the idea is the bad theory, or the theory that loses to the better one. Like in this case, Newton's gravity theory lost to Einstein's gravity theory through this rational process of dialogue, right? And the other bad way is, well, it's done by force, like the death penalty for apostasy. You kill the people that have the brains, that have the ideas in their heads.
Yeah, but in this case, it's really near impossible to kill that idea, or rather to exterminate it, if we want to think about the life.
It's in lots of people's heads.
Because what's happening is that you are removing the individuals who are instantiations of that particular meme, the same way that you are removing individuals who might be carrying a certain gene that carries certain possible traits that can be manifested in individuals. And so my point here is that when you're looking at apostasy, the source for apostasy is always going to be present, which is like saying that you're removing the H2O molecules, but not removing the H2 molecules or the O2 molecules from the environment. These components are basically Islam itself, and the clash that Islam has with modern science, modern world, lifestyles that have some issues. So even if all the apostates were magically removed from the Muslim society, you still actually have the potential of producing new ones, simply because the environment that generated that meme in the first place is still there, and it's that beginning from some environment is always there.
Yeah, well, their methodology was more effective when, there wasn't internet yet, there wasn't the printing press yet. It was hard to travel far away. They can control a city, they can control a country. Now it's very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. What happens then is, if you want to make an analogy with genes, is that if you look at our genetic code, you will find that you have so many genes that don't get expressed at a given time, or that never get expressed at all in a given organism. And so
memes do that too.
Yeah, so it's not that the meme wasn't there, it's just that it wasn't being expressed in the public sphere where ideas get.
So let's do an example for people. Suppose a little boy watched 1,000 times his father beat his mother, and then during that time, that little boy is not beating anyone, but he may be learning to do that, and then in the future he has a wife, and the meme can come out of being dormant.
Yeah.
And he'll beat his wife. And that's how this happens every generation. Now, of course, it can go the other way. Somebody could also turn around and say, no, I don't like beatings, and I'm going to do it a different way. But that means other memes are competing and winning over that meme.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually, I want to talk about that a little bit. After this section about epistemology, I want to talk about a new thing that wasn't planned in any of this. I want to talk about it because it came up in both of the helping episodes, and it was a big issue in my life. It is the idea that punishment is evil.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, I didn't even connect these till yesterday. I chose as the main flag of this organization to get rid of like one of the worst forms of punishment, death penalty for apostasy. So punishment is important. And it's a bunch of ideas that people have in their heads that are propping up the idea that punishment is good. And that's what I want to talk about, but not right now. And I should say Karl Popper is the one who discovered this, that memetic evolution works by similar logic to genetic evolution. I say similar, it's almost the same. There's differences, so you can't say it's the same.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't know if actually Popper employed the term meme as such.
Oh, he didn't.
Yeah.
But he figured out the logic.
Yeah. Okay.
The guy who came up with the word meme was Richard Dawkins.
It was Dawkins in the Selfish Gene, I believe.
Yeah, the Selfish Gene.
And it's a contested idea in the circles where people view evolution of various cultural constructs, but it's so basic and so common sense that it's really hard to say that it's wrong. Though some people might use it under different guises without really realizing that what they're actually doing is memetic theory.
Well, let me add one more thing then. David Deutsch built onto this, and he discovered two methodologies that memes use to replicate. And then he names the two types of memes that are using the two strategies: static memes and dynamic memes. And another way to say them is rational and irrational. I think I swapped them there. Or he also uses the term anti-rational sometimes. Static memes, well, let me give the better one first. Dynamic memes replicate by being useful to the hosts, so that the hosts willingly use them and then teach them to their kids. And then people keep spreading them to others. Static memes have a different approach, an opposing approach. They're not useful to the host. That's not how they spread. They're being useful to themselves by hijacking the critical mind of the person and doing things like make you fear hell so you don't change your mind. Like, that's an extreme version of it. So, and then ideas can be mixed. So there's some dynamic memeness in it and some static memes in it.
If I don't know about this aspect in from what Deutsch might be saying, but if I want to think about the analogy between genes and memes as just a kind of a mindless, selfish, self-replicating mechanism, then the implications of it being beneficial or not beneficial comes afterwards, and it's not something that's built into the meme itself, if that makes sense. That if you have a gene that gives you the propensity for developing a certain kind of cancer at one point, this is not something because cancer is trying to self-preserve. It's just that particular gene is there because it was there.
Well, we could do examples like the wheel is a dynamic meme. We keep spreading it because we like it, we want it, we keep making it better. Islam is a static meme or memeplex, multiple ideas. There's some goodness in it. There has to be some, right? Because on both sides it's mixed. There's nothing that's purely dynamic meme, I think, and nothing that's purely static meme.
Well, I don't know. I have some ideas that come from Dennett, but maybe we can move on and then we can have some discussion of that at some later point.
At some other day, we could talk about this in particular. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what Daniel Dennett says about this.